Hi everybody, it's Annie, the Joy-Filled Stitcher, and we are here with Flosstube number 11. It is Friday, July the 26th. Is that right? That is right. And I'm here with another weekly update. If you are new here, welcome. I love to talk about cross-stitching, things that go on in my life in the week. I'm an elementary school teacher, so I share a little bit about what's going on with me. And if you are returning, and especially if you are returning and a subscriber, thanks so much. It means a lot that you spend a little time with me each week. And so yeah, let's talk about this week. So first, let me say, if you stuck it out through whatever the nonsense of the audio issues I had last week were, thank you. I don't know why all of a sudden last week specifically, I've been recording on my iPad for several weeks, why last week the audio was so quiet. The only thing I can think, and this is what my husband suggested, is because my daughter was home last Friday night when I filmed, I had her monitor going, and she has a white noise machine. And so that's the only thing I could think that maybe would mess is the background audio of hers was messing with the audio in my video. But I figured out how in my editing, I don't edit much. I will tell you, I don't edit much. I literally cut and paste them into iMovie and then send them out. But I did figure out how I can increase the volume of a clip. So I will make sure that this week you can hear it. So if you stuck around, through the 3 attempts to get it to be good, I appreciate it. And I also appreciate those of you who were super encouraging through that whole thing. It was very frustrating to me. It was sad to me. And it kind of hurt my heart a little to have some kind of not so kind comments about it, because I'm still kind of new to this. And so anything constructive was fantastic. Anything positive was fantastic. Or if it was even said like, hey, I can't hear you, it sounds like you're whispering, that's totally fine. It's when it got kind of not so nice that made me kind of sad. Anywho, so this week I don't think will be a very long video. I say that and then they tend to be longer than my expectations. But I will tell you, I have not had a whole lot of stitching this week. A lot of that has to do with, we spent 2.5 days at Great Wolf Lodge. So that was super fun. We were not able to travel on our big long family vacation, so kind of as a consolation trip for my daughter, we went and spent Tuesday afternoon and night, all day Wednesday, and then most of the day until early afternoon on Thursday at Great Wolf Lodge. And there's one that's maybe about 35 minutes away depending upon traffic. She had a blast. She loved the quest thing. If you're not familiar with Great Wolf Lodge, it's a huge themed hotel. It's along the similar lines of Disney in the respect that they have lots of themed activities, but there's this pass you can buy and it'll give them like a Build-A-Bear and play the Magic Quest. The Magic Quest is super fun. It requires you to basically go all over, up and down floors of the hotel and find things and go on these little quests with a wand. She got the wand as part of her pass. And then the other big bonus is they have an indoor water park and an outdoor water park. And so she spent some time in both. We are talking about going back. It was my mom, myself, and her. And we've talked about going back at some point soon with my husband, myself, and her. Because it was super fun. He was kind of jealous that he didn't get to go. He was like, that looks like so much fun. I was like, it was so much fun. We went on the water slides and played in the wave pool and went in the lazy river, and she had a blast, and it was super relaxing, and it was a fun way to kind of end out our summer break. I go back officially to work a week from Monday. However, I will be back a lot next week, kind of getting things in order. So it's kind of a little bit of an update. I don't really have any pictures I would like to share of our time. Just know we had a great time. And there was not a lot of stitching while I was there. I got a little bit in every now and again. I have a picture that I took, and I'm going to get it on my Instagram, of like my piece I was working on and Great Wolf in the background. So it was kind of cool. So yeah, I have I'm still not finished with homework this week. Very rarely have I made it to Friday and I'm not finished with homework. So I'm feeling a little like, gotta get that finished. If I don't finish it, I'm gonna post what I have finished and I'll get partial credit. So that's cool. I don't have a lot of stash to share. What I may do is insert a clip towards the end. I'll let you know if that's gonna happen. I kind of got my flosses situated in my drawer unit. So I think I'm gonna attach that clip in at the end. So hang tight if you wanna see that. Or I may even do it as a separate little mini video. That's probably what I'm gonna do, is a separate mini video. And I'll do a drawer unit tour of my flosses and a drawer unit tour of my fabrics, because I got those all organized too. So let's get started. What did I work on? Oh, and there wasn't any really Q&A. There was just a lot of helpful hints about getting my audio fixed on the last video. So what did I work on? Whips, works in progress. So last week, I think when we spoke, I was finishing up an extra credit task using Deines Garden. So this is the mock-up of that. It is by Lila's Studio, and I am stitching this on a 14 count Silk Weaver Ray of Light. So I did get that task finished. I think it was even still on my Q-snap when I showed it last week. And so I got a bunch more of the green put in. And so yeah, I'm really liking this project. It is put away for now because I've done 2 extra credits on this month. And I really am going to try to pick different focus pieces when September rolls around. We'll see. I may pull this one back out. So that was one, and this is in a little strawberry pouch. I don't have much, folks. So let's see. What did I work on for bingo? I don't know that I put much into bingo. I've kind of hit a slump on my numbers. They've kind of been kind of nonsense. Yeah, didn't work on that. No, the only one that I think I've put anything in for bingo... Okay, I did have a bingo piece that I did, and I actually did a full, excuse me, get a little closer to my bucket here. I'm kind of in a weird, awkward angle because I realized when I got ready to film, my iPad has 23%, and that made me a little kind of nervous. So it's plugged in, so I'm kind of at a, I gotta be close enough to my cord. Technicality. So I needed 3042, and it got called... While I was at Great Wolf Lodge and I did not have the piece, which meant I was a full day late stitching it when I got home last night. It was a morning number the first morning we were there, and I wasn't even home before last night. And so I had to put 100 stitches into something. Well, the piece I had originally pulled to use for 3042 did not have 100 stitches in that color. So I had to quick figure a situation out as to where I could get 100 stitches. And if you remember, I had my full finish from a couple of weeks ago, the It's You I Like. And this one's sitting in my stitching area for fun. And I knew I wanted to do one for my daughter, and I don't know what the finish is going to be. And she loves pinks and purples. Well, 3042 is kind of a lavendery purple. And I realized that I had Victoria Motto 3042 conversion, which is their French lavender, and I was like, and I had a super cute, I had a while back gotten an Under the Sea Fabrics ornament pack, and this really pretty, this is their 18 count Georgia Peach, came in that, and it's just this little small piece, such a cute little thing. Sorry for the hoop marks, kind of makes it hard to see, but I stitched another It's You I Like, and I moved the heart up here this time. I did something a little different. So, I don't know how I'm going to finish that. I want to do something cute for her. The last 2 finishes I've done, I did a hoop finish with a bow that hangs on her wall. And then I did one that kind of is like an ornament. It's puffy though. It has like foam in the middle. So I don't know how I want to finish this yet, fully finish it. But I needed that color, so there you go. So that was a finish, a start and a finish in one day, and it had to be quick because I for sure didn't, that doesn't have 150 stitches. So all right, so I actually had 2 new starts this week. Just what I don't need is 2 new starts, but I had planned on using this for my homework. This week's homework was stitch 1,000 stitches in either blue, black, or words, and it had to do with detention with Professor Umbridge. And so I won't go into too much detail about that. So my start is Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is Hannah Disney, I believe is her name. I'm not sure. This is Tranquil Tulips. And like Stitch and Mommy's doing this as a diamond painting. And I was going to do it as a diamond painting. And then I realized I really don't enjoy diamond painting. It's not super like low-key relaxing for me. Not at all. Like I had little diamonds everywhere. It was So I am obsessed with the Floss Buddies that Michelle Bendy uses. And I believe they're by Bags Plus. So a little story. I'm obsessed with them. I think they are so cool. I wanted one for this project. But I could not, I could not at that point spend the $90 or so. And I know that the person who owns Bag Plus had some things where she was not able to make them. So it was like not an option for right then at all. So I was like, maybe, you know, I've made my own pouches. Maybe I could make my own. Folks, there's a reason why hers are $90. I was like, I'm going to go buy the vinyl. I have some felt. I have some fabric. I'm going to do binding. So easy. Okay, so first, it's kind of like Monet. Okay, from far away, it's okay, but up close, it's a big old mess. Name that movie. I'm a child of the 90s. In case you don't know that movie, it's from Clueless. Okay, so I made mine. Notice it does not even really line up very well. I had intended this to have 90 pockets. I ran out of room on my piece of felt, so it has like 70 pockets. So I made one. These are my flosses. Okay, this is all but the ones that are in my supplemental one. But I do like that this has the felt on the back, so I can put my extras here if I'm working on a color. So here's the thing. This is fantastic for this. In the future, I will buy one from her. And she now has layaway. And I'm like, ooh, layaway. That's cool. Because I can't, there's just no time that I have that amount of money to spend at any one given time. And I've been spending too much on stitching. Let's be perfectly honest. Thankfully, this week is not super stash heavy. I have 1 stash unload and 2 Mystic fabrics, and that's it. And I'm going to start really trying to rein that in, because I was on like a stash acquiring, and I'm not like producing enough finishes to kind of equal that out. So I made my own hard stuff. There will not be a tutorial on this because this is a one and only, one of a kind, hot mess. So anyway, go buy a real one, a real Floss Buddy from Bags Plus. But anywho, this is being stored in a sweater bag from Container Store. Because, yeah, that's how I roll. And I have a wee bit of a start. And this is on an 18 count in Dove Gray. And I have this on an 8x11 Q-Snap. So I went through and found 1,000 stitches in blues. And then I got started and I was like, I knew I was going to Great Wolf and there would be no way I could work on this. So I was like, I need something with a solid block of color. So I am not abandoning this. However, I am going to order myself some 18 count Easy Grid. My only concern is, does it really wash out? Does the gridding, the Easy Grid that you can get off of Heaven and Earth Designs or 123 Stitch, does it actually wash out well? So, if you have worked with it and you know that it washes well, I am stitching this in DMC, no overdyes. So I'm not necessarily worried about flosses bleeding or anything. I'm just wondering, does the gridding actually wash out? So, I really am going to like that, but I am excited to try the gridding. I don't think I'm going to park. I think that so far with what I've done, I've been able to, there's some definite patterning in the coloring. There is, I'm trying not to jump more than about 4 or 5 stitches in each direction. I know I'm not, they say don't jump that many. But on an 18 count, I'm kind of okay with jumping 4 or 5. So my thought is I'm going to stick with an 18. I don't want to jump up to 25. And I don't think they make 20 or 22 in the Easy Grid. So, plus it's not a very big one. This is a quick stitch. So I think it's only 185 by 129. So I don't think I'm going to park. I may change my mind later on. I don't know that I want to jump into my first full coverage with parking. I also think I might participate, and this kind of goes more into plans, because I will, oh yeah, I had to talk about August plans. We'll get there. Okay, because I will not film before the 1st of August. So the next new start that I went ahead and did, because I talked about this last week, I think, that my daughter's new project, granted I did that other one for her, but that was kind of a spur of the moment, gotta have something to stitch on, is Nora Corbett's V Fairy. And so I love this. She loves it. She's super excited. She helped me sit down because, of course, I converted it. She helped me go through and pick out some colors that, like, spoke to her. And I helped her a little bit. So I am stitching this on a Mystic Fabrics 18 count. And this is an opalescent. And this is just one she had in her weekly. It's got a little bit of a pink. And I've got a tiny bit of a start. I think I have something like 38 stitches. And I am hating my setup today because I've got a bit of a shadow. But there you can see the sparkle. So let me show you the colors I'm using. So one reason why we swapped out some of the colors is not because I don't like what Nora Corbett charted. It's that my daughter loves pink, purple, and turquoise. So we are keeping the dress because turquoise. She is blonde. She wanted her fairy to have blonde hair. So I am using Victoria, and she even held it up to her hair, Victorian Motto Honey Pot for the hair. And then, let's see. I have some that I'm not sure. I'm going to work that out. So the dress I am doing in a mystery from Color and Cotton. It reminds me of the one that is called for. The one that is called for is Classic Colorworks Key Largo. And I wanted to just use what I already had because I knew I had some stuff. Porcelain is going to be for skin tone because she is a peaches and cream skin tone. And then the outline of the V is going to be in Classic Colorworks Pickled Beet, which I like. It's kind of a pinky purple. And then the inside of the V is going to be in Classic Colorworks Strawberry Parfait. She helped pick all these out. I gave her choices. Then where I am not sure about is the wings. So the wings, I have several options. The wings are either going to be in, and this will come once I get, I think, everything else stitched. This one is my lead. I love the variegation in this. This is Color and Cotton Wild Oats. I love the variegation in this, but I'm afraid it would blend too much with the fabric. So this is kind of my least obvious choice. So then my second one I'm possibly thinking about is, this is a Victorian Motto. This is Cloudy Day. So I'm thinking about that for wings, which is a deviation from what the pattern originally calls for. My other option, if we want to go a little bit fancy, is to use DMC Etoile in Blanc, which comes a little more gray. It's like a silvery white. So that was my third choice, which I'm kind of leaning towards. Now, there are beads, but I'm going to wait until all the stitching is finished to pick out beads, and I will go to my LNS to do that. That's one thing where I want to be able to pull the beads and put them down. Now, there is a Krynic that is used, and it is used for the veining in the wings and these strings that come down for the beading. I also have contemplated if I don't want to do, I've asked her what she thinks. I know for sure I'm going to do the beads that are her crown. I am tempted to with all of this. This is a little much beading for me for my very first beading project. I know. I'm thinking about doing the big beads in the V, but then I'm thinking about stitching these lines instead of beading in metallics. So I have some options, and they're both pinks and purples. So my two options are, and this is, I haven't decided this yet. So I've got two étoiles. So I've got a pink and a kind of lilac-y purple. And these are C554 and C603. And then in the very same vein of color, I have some petite treasure braid that I had from a different project. And so I've got these two colors. Oh, maybe you know where my camera is. So I love these. And so these are PB206 and PB205. So I have not decided, I have not worked that out. So I've got a lot of stitching to do before I ever get to metallics and beading. So I'll keep you posted. I've only put one day into this project so far. It is living in a random, I wouldn't say random, but it's a vinyl front project bag. I do not have any other project bags currently available because, yeah. Hashtag lots of whips. And this is one, I think I got this from Stitchin' Buttons on Instagram. It's got a cute fob. My only complaint is that it came with this zipper not stitched. And I can fix it, but it's not, no big deal. And I forgot to put pictures back with my projects. Remind me, I'll do that later. Okay, so I've got one more thing. So I ended up, I talked about homework. And I ditched Tranquil Tulips after I put in about 117 stitches. And so I went to my trusty Awesome Pattern Studios Fort Worth. And I have plotted out 1,000 stitches in 807, which is Peacock Fluke, and 775, which is very light blue. Very light baby blue, I believe. So 775, very light baby blue. And 807, Peacock Blue. So I am not done with this. I'm hopeful this video is quick so that I can finish stitching on this tonight because I'd like to get to something else. In fact, I have temperature stitching to do this next week for all of July. And it hadn't been that hot. So anyway, I am in the process of putting in a lot of stitches in that 807. I did end up, before we left, I tinted a bunch. And while I was in a place where I could focus, I tinted. I just did the half stitches. And then when I was a little more distracted, like when I was stitching while waiting on Starbucks or while we were waiting on the water park to open and we were just sitting around or whatever, I would complete them. So I've still got some more tinting. I know I've got more blue that I've got to get to over here. So yeah, this is a large, long bridge. And this is on an 18 count and kind of a mint that was from a seller that dyes it herself off of Stash Unload. So yeah, and I think I told you what V Fairy was on. And this lives, well, currently it's been living in the bingo bag, but normally it lives in a Love You More Studio Co pouch in denim with gold dots. So, speaking of Fort Worth, it's really cool today. I dropped off my daughter. She wanted to go to camp today because she had seen what all they'd been doing while she was at Great Wolf and was jealous. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. One, you don't need to be jealous because you're at Great Wolf Lodge, and a lot of those kids might want to be there too. But they'd done some cool things. So I dropped her off at camp, and then I went to Target because I needed to get a few grocery items and things. And while I was driving to the Target, I was like, oh, I forget how cool it is to live in Fort Worth. Fort Worth, little known fact, we are called Where the West Begins because during railroad expansion and the days of cattle and all of that, we were the hub of the railroad in Texas. And it was where the West began. So we have a huge stockyards still here. We had the cattle business, we had railroad, and it all just kind of came together. Well, one thing that's kind of cool, and people get the impression that in Texas, like when I went to France when I was 18, people asked me if I rode a horse to school. No, I drove a car. But we do actually have mounted police. We have police that ride horses on their patrols. Like, it's really cool. So today I was like, what? Like, I kind of did a double take. Because you're used to seeing them in certain parts of town. But not by the Target like in my neighborhood. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was 3 of them. They were all lady riders. My daughter at one point wanted to be a police officer. Then she also wanted to be a cowgirl. And so now I think I need to share with her that she could be a mounted police officer. She could be a police officer on horseback. And so it kind of be the two things. So anywho, that is whips. Now plans. Plans for August. One, it's back to school. As a teacher, I am back August 5th. We start a little bit earlier, but that's also because we have some breaks during the year and we're out before Memorial Day. And so I'm back full time on the 5th, and then we start school like the following week. My daughter does. All the kids do. So I know my quantity of stitching is going to go down. It's going to be just in the evenings. And the first, I'm familiar with now that this is year, I have to think about this. I think this is year 13 or 14. I think it's 14. 13? I don't know. Somewhere in the teens. I know that the first couple of weeks, I'm tired. I'm tired because I'm back in a different headspace. And kind of takes time to get back acclimated. And especially that first week back, there's a lot of trainings and new information. I know that I'm always on like overload, but I think my cross stitching is going to be a little bit of a calmness at the end of a long day. So I know my stitching is going to decrease. However, I have tried to, especially with my magical stitches extra credit tasks, I've tried to kind of front load some through July because I had more free time. So I think I am 5 in. I know that I have, I'm trying to think now. I think I've completed 4, maybe 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm either at 4 or 5 of 10. There's 11 tasks, but one is to watch a movie. I realized also one of the tasks that I did in Deines Garden only had to be 200 stitches, and I did 500. I'm a teacher, but I didn't read. It's okay. I know I have 2 scheduled for V Fairy, so that's going to get me trucking along, which I'm excited about. And I have 1 more in Carrot Forest, and I have 1 more in Bluebirds, and Deines Garden, 1 more in Tree Farm. And there might be 1 more. No, I think that's right. So, I already know that's going to be in August after homework. I doubt I'll get to any year-long stuff, and that's okay. Reading also declines because I've got, I just don't have the time when I'm getting kids' schedules worked out and things like that to be doing audiobooks and stuff. And to be perfectly honest, reading kind of fell off this summer too. And I'm kind of disappointed in myself in that. But I'm mulling over if there's any other tasks I want to participate in. So I know that 24 Hours of Cross Stitch has their cross stick challenge, a holiday challenge, and there's one other one. I saved them on my Facebook because I wanted to look into what they were. I know those are options. Also, now that I'm doing a full coverage, I can participate in the full coverage Fanatics events. And then there's, I'm trying to remember what Semi-Sanes is for. Oh, it's an August calendar challenge is the other one. It says August acrostic, holiday challenges, and calendar challenge. I don't know what the calendar challenge is, so that'll be interesting. I was looking to see what Semi-Sanes were, because I think it was something that I was thinking was good, or it might have been September. I can't remember. I'm going to look it up for you. Let's see. Oh, it's Crazy Whips. So it's kind of based off a little bit of Crazy Eights. So it's like you have to link your projects. You have to say like whip 1 is this and whip 2 is this, and they have to be linked. So it's like Kevin Bacon of whips. Not really. So they gave an example of like whip 1 is a Mira, whip 2 is a Joan Elliott, linked by being a lady with beads and Krynic. Whip 3 is another chart by Joan Elliott, maybe of a seasonal thing. Then whip 4 is a seasonal Haid, whip 5 could be another Haid, and so on. And so they like want you to have a domino effect, and they want you to get a certain quantity of stitches. I need to look a little bit more into it. So I'm debating that. I've enjoyed bingo this month, with the exception of not taking the 1 whip I needed for that color. That was a bummer. It's like, ugh, man. And I'm usually such a pre-planner. Obviously, we are still in book 5 for Magical Stitches. So yeah, I'm not real sure. I'm also mulling over. I watched Jessie Marie's video on all of her spreadsheets. Love that. Like, my heart was like, soaring. I love data and all of that. And I already work through numbers. I keep my I have a stitchy calendar, and I keep track of my stitch totals and things like that all through numbers. So like, she was speaking my love language. And so, but she shared her whip go, and I've been watching her with whip go since I started watching her back in January or February, whenever I started really getting into Flosstube. And I'm thinking, like, that is a good way for me to remind myself how much I love some projects that have not gotten a lot of time. I sat down today, and when I could have been stitching, but I was enjoying what I was doing, I used one of the numbers spreadsheets she shared. It was the whip. I don't remember what she called it, whip tracker. And so you have your whips, and you have how many days you've worked on it in 2019, how many you've worked on in 2018, how many you worked on pre-2018, and then what days you've worked on it in the month. And it was kind of eye-opening to me that, like, some of my projects I started in June have gotten like 12 days, and then I have a project I started in like April that's gotten 2. So I'm definitely playing favorites. And I also think that WhipGo is a good way for me to kind of go, okay, I have to start getting some bingos in order to maybe not so much start things. I don't have a problem with starting things, but buy more things. I am going to go ahead and keep my monthly to Victorian Motto, my monthly with, so my monthly flosses with Victorian Motto, my monthly fabric with Misty, with Mystic Fabrics. And I did join a monthly fabric through Needlework something, but it's hand dyed by Stephanie. It's 13 fabrics over 12 months. I did join that. So, and I think I'm mulling over Ship's Manor, because he does mostly 16 count Ada, and I have a lot. So I need to decide here pretty quick so I can tell him, like, hey, I need to take a break. But that's really all I'm keeping for my monthly stuff. And that'll be exciting to get. I'm trying to, like, avert my eyes to stash unloading, because I really have so many awesome things. I don't need to buy anything else right now. I really don't. Okay, so that's a lot of ramble. So now let's talk about the few things that I did get this week. I'm going to dump this bucket over if I try to do this. Okay. And then I have charts. I have my magazine patterns. And then we're done. And then I will film and upload about my storage. And it's not all my storage. It's just like that storage. Okay, so Stash Unload, somebody posted this Oksana fabric. And it's a 16 count Ada. And I even said I had 16 count, but I could not pass this up. It's an 18 by 29, so it's a huge piece of fabric. I mean, it's relatively huge. And I think it's a beautiful color. It's a great neutral. It's double this. And it was $10. Plus shipping, and shipping was very reasonable. So I snagged that. It's a great piece. I needed more neutrals. I've got a lot of wildly vibrant fabrics. And then my Mystic, the only 2 I purchased, and this is my last one I'm going to participate in for a while. I'm not crossing my fingers, and I'm not crossing my toes, and I'm not crossing my eyes. I'm going to take a break. If you see me show Mystic fabric that's not my fabric of the month, you need to go. No more buying. Okay, so I did go ahead. She had pumpkin vines, and I do have a pumpkin vine, and it's on a 16 count. And I love pumpkin vines. It's a pretty one. So I went ahead and got an 18 count. She had all of her 18 count was pumpkin vines this week. So I got kind of to, and I was even kind of late to the game. And I picked one that was a little bit lighter. My other one's a lot darker. And it's also on a very thick. My other one is on a very thick 16 count. I know she does Weigert and Charles Craft. I think my other one's on a Charles Craft, and it is thick and dense. So pretty. And I'm gonna put that in my drawer before I go show. And then let's see. Oh, and I got see, I could not pass this one up because I'm loving 20 and 22. Plus, let me tell you, 22 is soft. It's like a blanket. It's so soft. So this is a 22 count, which you could, I guess, call Hardinger. I don't do Hardinger on it. I just stitch on it. And it's a pretty, like, grayish neutral. Cloud-like. So I went ahead and snagged this one on 22 count, and it's a 21 by 24 piece. So I'm excited about that. Don't know what's going to go on it yet. Doesn't matter. It's beautiful, and it's a stash. So we're in chalk patterns, and then we're done. So last week I shared 2 patterns. I only had like 2 people claim one of them or asked to stitch one of them. And I think that had a lot to do with my audio issues in 3 separate videos. I did go back and check comments on all 3 videos. I had 2 people who wanted to stitch the strawberry sampler, and it's going to go to Lucinda Jeffrey. So Lucinda, I will comment on your original comment. I'm wondering if yours was on one of the videos. I have since unlisted. We'll figure that out. I'm not sure about that. Oh, and if you got claimed one of the patterns last week, or you got picked for one of the patterns last week, it just didn't happen before we left town, so they'll go out with these as well. So I apologize about that. They are coming, and I may stick a little something extra in there. So I do have 2 I'm going to share with you this week. I am going to save the floral pillow, the alphabet pillow, for another week later on, and maybe we'll have some other folks that are excited about it. So this one is kind of a unique one. This is from Cross Stitch Sampler, April 1995, and this is fun. This is fun. This is beyond me, but it's super fun. This is the Holiday Birdhouse. So it's got some unique stitches. It looks like it's got maybe some beading. It's got some cute cardinals. I love cardinals, and it's 3D. So I would like to stitch the birdhouse. And then the other one, I think this one is so cute. This is kind of like a twofer because of how the pattern is. This one is from Cross Stitch Sampler, Summer 1992. And this says, friends are never a burden. They help lighten our load. You would not necessarily have to stitch that sentiment, but this is I think this floral frame is really pretty. I wonder who the designer is on this, because it kind of reminds me of a piece that Stitch and Mommy is doing. Her, I think she's done with it now, but it was the Midsummer Roses. It reminds me a little bit of Midsummer Roses. Who designed this? Let's see. Karen Crafts. Nope, it's not the same person. All right, so, and then your freebie. Got a golfer? 4. So I would like to stitch the friends. Let me change that. I would like to stitch the frame. And you also get the golfing one for free. So I would like to stitch the frame, or I would like to stitch the birdhouse. Birdhouse frame. Alrighty, folks. I don't have a whole lot else to share with you this week. So I will be back next Friday with my next weekly update. We will be on Flosstube number 12. We will be right at the beginning of August, so I hope to show you some temperature quilt stitching. And that's really all I got for you. So I hope you have a great week. I hope that if you are in a place that is hot, we kind of had a cool snap, and now we're going to get hot again. Hydrate, keep yourself healthy, enjoy some nice stitching inside the air conditioning, and I will see you soon. And until I do, all the blessings and happy, happy stitching. Bye, guys.